See, they've been in the scam so long and invested in so much, their whole identity's in it. They're supposed to be the elite. They're supposed to be in power. They're the ones that follow the orders. They take the serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They take the antidepressants. They take the 10th booster. They make their hair purple. They hate America. They hate BlackRock. They love Bill Gates. They love Pfizer. They love MSNBC. They love the Democratic Party. They love lies. And now it's all caving in on them. And then they're, well, I'll just sterilize. There's been more abortions since Roe v. Wade got overturned, statistically. There'll still be states where you can go get it done. But that's the federalist system. Some states are going to say, we don't do that here. No one's coming for you. No one's trying to enslave you. Everyone is so upset by the death cult and by children's body parts being sold, and you guys calling it a wonderful sacrament that it's being rejected, and it should be. California legislature passes bill reducing penalties for oral and anal sex with willing children. California Attorney General Rob Boda wants holiday shoppers to spy on businesses and report stores without gender-neutral kids sections. Yeah, can't let boys and girls be boys and girls. What a cult. Fines of $250 for the first offense, $500 for the repeats. California thieves get a pass, but businesses are punished for not being woke enough. Woke enough? They are destroying the family, the biological system of mammals. All over the U.S. and Europe, they're not saying ladies and gentlemen at the beginning of sports games or music events, because ladies and gentlemen is hurtful. You're under attack. This was produced and created to destabilize civilization. It's not whacked out liberals making a mistake. They know what they're doing. The cult members don't, though. So how are they responding? Let's get the Keir Starmer clip ready, please. Then I'll play the Australia clip. Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, came out Friday, and he said it's the Conservatives that wanted open borders. It's the Brexit people. It's Nigel Farage. One England, one country means the whole world. No. It's the left and the UN and the EU that have the migrant quotas. And yeah, are the Tories leftist in disguise? Yeah, but it wasn't the Brexit movement. Yeah, Boris Johnson flipped terrorist. He wants Elon Musk, but not the Brexit movement. Not UKIP before that, or the new party that's surging, led by Nigel Farage. And yeah, you get traitors, just like we have traitor Republicans that don't deliver what they're supposed to, then we remove them. And yeah, they stole an election 4 years ago, so we had such a landslide, we overrode that. It's called a fight. It's called a struggle. So, this is total desperation. You know, he only won by 17, 18 points. You go, wait a minute, how did that happen? Parliamentary manipulation. Labor's been in power the most over the years. They wrote the rules that for their seats in Parliament, they're counted many times more than other seats. It's a seniority system. So even though his party got less than 20% of the vote, and other parties got more, they have seniority, so he's in there. And now he knows there's a new election being formed, because they can force that with petitions, record level signed. And so now he's like, oh, no, I'm going to fix it. We're the party that wants border control. Kind of like Harris said, the borders are open borders. Everybody's got to be legalized. Then I was never the border czar 6 months ago. And then a few months before the election, I was the border czar. I built the wall, as if you had no memory. Here's Keir Starmer.
What the British people are owed is an explanation. Because a failure on this scale isn't just bad luck. It isn't a global trend or taking your eye off the ball. No, this is a different order of failure. This happened by design, not accident. Policies were reformed deliberately to liberalise immigration. Brexit was used for that purpose, to turn Britain into a one-nation experiment in open borders. Global Britain. Remember that slogan? That is what they meant. A policy with no support, and which they then pretended wasn't happening.
No, saying that a country's one nation means we're not in the EU with the EU dictating open borders. And then Boris Johnson betrayed all that and continued it, and now it's gotten way worse under the last two governments, including the Tories, the mainline fake conservatives, just like our neocons, our rhinos. And then now Labor gets in and is flooding it at record levels, and now flip-flops and says they're not. I mean, these people are incredible. Meanwhile, and there's so many examples of this, Walmart getting rid of DEI, all of it. Now Apple, and I don't have time to run it, but I'll run it tomorrow, has this Christmas ad for iPads and stuff that's all about family and mothers and fathers and little girls and little boys, brothers and sisters, and beautiful, and how the best thing in the world's families. You would never see this until now. And now suddenly it's not just them, it's all the big, because the corporate pushed their attack, pushed their thing to break our will, and then once we got mad and woke up, they back away. They're going to try to hide in the shadows until we fall back asleep. And that's all that's happening. But Australia, that's demonized myself and countless other people for free speech, has now come out and blamed Joe Rogan for the unpopularity of their government and their poison shots and their lockdowns. And Joe was a big part of that, but what about the Australian people? What about all the other shows? What about all the, but they love to pick one person, kind of like I was picked 8 years ago. All this populism's Alex Jones. Everything's happening because of him. If we just get him off the air, that'll stop it all. And that wasn't even the case back then, though I was one of the only popular people telling the truth. Now it's everybody because the awakening's here. But these arrogant stooges think attacking him and saying he plays on fears, he lies to people. They're the ones that lied about the virus. They're the ones that lied about the shots. They're the ones that admitted they wanted fear all over the world and made kids wear masks and quarantines and all this for total power and said don't watch the sunset. Australian Broadcasting Corporation boss Kim Williams launches an unhinged tirade against Joe Rogan. I'm jealous. People like Mr. Rogan prey on people's vulnerabilities. They prey on fear. They prey on anxiety. Well, it's exactly what they did. Got declassified. UK, Australia, Europe, US, Canada, all run by Pentagon and their own military psychological divisions to quote create fear. I personally find it deeply repulsive, and to think that someone has such remarkable power in the United States is something that I look at in disbelief. You are the ones that don't have any power, except whatever you say, people go, well, I'll do the opposite. So you have the power for everybody to do the opposite of what you say. And thank God you haven't figured out reverse psychology yet. If this woman told you not to take shots, people go start taking. I am absolutely in dismay that this can be a source of public entertainment where it's really threatening the public and as plunder for purposes that are really quite malevolent. Really. I've got stacks of documents and new studies from all over the world where everyone that they look at with all these new blood clots and heart attacks, myocarditis, is the shots. Country by country, including Australia, New Zealand, England, Ireland, Scotland, Canada, the US. I mean, look at these new studies right here. Look at this. I've got new studies. I thought this was the right stack. There's so many of these. Oh, here's the head of NIH over vaccines saying it's all a fraud, none of it works. I had it in my stack Friday, where the British government said 1.7 million kids have had heart attacks and myocarditis, and they have a database. It's only the ones that took the shots that had it. I'll find it. We'll cover it tomorrow. The point is, these people are in deep crap. Oh, here it is. Oh, so many stacks. I'm sorry. This is a Cambridge / Harvard study with the government data of just 40%, that's what the government database had, of the public that took just the Pfizer shot, and it found 1.7 million kids and teens who got Pfizer COVID vaccine found myocarditis only existed in the vaxxed groups. I said Cambridge. Yeah, I flipped it up. I'm sorry. Oxford and Harvard study with the British government. Sorry. I always mix up Cambridge and Oxford. Oxford, excuse me. So, Oxford, Harvard. So, look, he's spreading fear. He's malevolent. No, you are. You're murderers. All right, Chase's going to take over. He always kicks ass. I prepared too much. I only covered like 5 stacks. There's like 10 others. I don't care what I do. I'm going to come in and hit the rest of this tomorrow and everything else. I didn't get to the brick stuff. Trump is America first, folks. People aren't going to like it around the world. That's how America dominates. Economically, culturally, not with missiles. So, good move for American economy. Good move for Americans. It ain't going to be good for the Russians and the Chinese and the Indians and the Mexicans, I can assure you of that. But he's doing what he said he'd do. You want somebody to stand up for you? Baby, you got it. And I'm trying my best as well, so thanks for your support. Chase, guys, is coming in with Sunday Night Live straight ahead. I'll be back at 11 a.m. Central tomorrow if I don't blow a gasket. Stay with us. We've been through a lot at InfoWars. America and the world has been through hell. But the Great Awakening is here. The globalists are in full panic mode. And now it's more important than ever to keep promoting the Team Humanity on air. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our sponsor, the AlexJonesStore.com, is owned by great patriots, some of the top makers of Patriot apparel. So whatever happens to InfoWars in the future, they are going to back us to stay on air at the Alex Jones Network at AJNlive on X and at Alex Jones on Network. So when you go to the AlexJonesStore.com and get any of the great apparel, any of the amazing supplements, you're keeping us on air. Now, the t-shirts are affordable, the supplements are very competitively priced, and they're great. But we've got some items on the store for folks that really want to support and have mementos of your support. We have 2 new campaign coins, 2 different coins right here. One is the answer to 1984 is 1776, and on one side it's got the Gadsden flag, on the other side it's got yours truly. The other great coin is 1776 limited edition coin with a Gadsden flag, don't tread on me, and 1776. Both are powerful coins, powerful messages. They weigh a lot, they feel good, they're a great gift, they're a great memento, they're a great keepsake, they're a great conversation starter, and both these coins are $14.97 at the AlexJonesStore.com. We can't do this without you. We want to sell you products you love so you come back again and again. Thanks for keeping us in the fight. Please visit the AlexJonesStore.com today and get the campaign coins.
Message from Dr. Rima Libo. Trump must tackle the UN's plan for global genocide. See the whole thing at ban.video.
Trump has appointed an entire slate of globalist henchmen, one after another, from his chief of staff to the appointees that he's chosen to his vice president, who is Peter Thiel's business partner. And if you're looking for a globalist, You'll find one in Peter Thiel. However, every single campaign promise rests on our not being part of the United Nations in order to fulfill that promise. Gender mutilation, or you can fill in the blank and talk about digital currency or any of the every country anywhere in the world. When we remove our countries from the United Nations, we automatically are removed from the World Health Organization. If a country, a sovereign country, and a non-country organization conclude a relationship, it's called a contract. And the country is under no obligation to change its laws to meet the contract. So that's a very, very significant difference. There can be no treaties with the United Nations because it's not a sovereign state. It's an unelected, nobody's club. Leaving the United Nations is embarrassingly simple. It takes a letter from the head of state to the Secretary General of the United Nations, and the letter says, we're not part of your club anymore, goodbye. That's all it takes. Now, I emphasize it has to be signed by the head of state. In Trump's first term in office, he allegedly removed us from the World Health Organization. He did not. That was twinkle toes nonsense flim-flam. He directed Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, to write the withdrawal letter. In other words, it was a political theatrical stunt. Trump then took twice the annual contribution that the United States makes to the World Health, which should be called World Holocaust Organization, and he gave it to Gavi, which is one of the principal supporters of the World Health Organization. Where do you think double the money went? In the Senate, Mike Lee from Utah, and in the House of Representatives, Chip Roy of Texas and Mike Rogers of Alabama introduced identical legislation, which collectively was called, listen to the words, the Disengaging Entirely from the United Nations Debacle Act. That act required every unit of the United Nations, its headquarters, its peacekeepers, its organizations, its whatever, out of the United States.
It's like my brother woke up just in time to play you.
Out of the United Nations. We have the power now. And
still have outscored me though, so you'll still be ahead. You'll still be ahead.
To inform our leaders that they must do what we say at this juncture. If we do not do this, and the plan of the globalist destructocrats and the controligarchs comes to fruition, people have to understand that is literally the end of humanity. Our DNA will be destroyed for their biodigital convergence and enslavement purposes, and the species known as
whatever, dude,
will cease to exist. That is the explicit articulated plan.
Learn more at PreventGenocide2030.
I don't know, 2 weeks left after this week, I think, before the playoffs. I think Dirty has a good chance of sliding up into a playoff position. It's the top two from each division.
United Nations debacle. Again, share that report probably on X as well. It's a great place to share it. I'm back after a little under a week of vacation. Ready to hit the ground running.
My brother hasn't been paying attention all year. I've been yelling at him every fucking week, even when I'm playing him.
My fellow Patriots, there are a lot of
I actually stopped.
Patriot gear, supplements, you name it, at thealexshowstore.com. But we've now added a whole bunch of other really cool items. There are a bunch of amazing campaign coins for InfoWars for $17.76.
How about that Michigan-Ohio State game?
For Liberty on the site as low as $9.99. Some of the challenge coins are $14.97. They're great fundraisers for us. They have a lot of weight in them. They look great. They're great conversation starters, great gifts, great keepsakes, mementos, and you know that you've supported the InfoWars. So I want to thank you all for your past support and encourage you now to go to the.
I was at a large family event, and I was the only one in Michigan gear. Even though I'd already figured we were going to get our butts stomped.
TheAlexShowStore.com. So go there for the campaign coins and so much more today.
And dude, it just makes it the excuses you hear every fucking year here.
It's Monday, December 2nd, in the year of our Lord 2024.
Last year it was Connor Stallions.
You're listening to the American Journal with your host, Harrison Smith. Watch it live right now at band.video.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the American Journal. I'm your host, Harrison Smith, coming to you live this Monday morning. It is the 2nd of December. Already, if you can believe it, we're in the final month of the year and how time flies. Big thanks to Maria Z for sitting in for me Tuesday and Wednesday of last week. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did. But it was good to disconnect for a little while. I was just watching Alex's Sunday broadcast, and he's like, pulled over mom like 10 times, kept being like, maybe I should just take a vacation. Maybe I should need to take a vacation. Sometimes that's what you need. I woke up at 4 in the morning today, a full hour before my alarms went off, and just laid in bed for like 10 minutes and was like, all right, I guess I'm up. I guess I'm up and rearing to go. After not talking about this stuff for a week, you get the itch. So we're gonna satisfy that today. Tons of stuff to talk about. Obviously, we've got what's going on in Syria as another, a continual front of the Third World War, but one that hasn't seen a lot of action until just a few days ago. Syrian rebels stormed Aleppo. We'll talk about how that plays into the Ukraine war, the wider World War III conflict. We'll also, of course, talk about Hunter Biden's pardon by Joe Biden. We'll take a good long look at Kash Patel, as it seems to be one of the most meaningful appointments Trump has made so far.
Oh yeah.
Director of the FBI.
Oh, they think about that game as soon as the game's over with. They're already thinking about next year. That's just the mindset of those two schools with that game.
I really hadn't looked into him.
I don't know if
until he was
Ryan Day's thinking about next year. I think he's thinking about where he's going to be coaching.
Against him. So he's got that.
He's 47-1 against the rest of the Big Ten, but 1-4 against Michigan. Any other coach that would be fine.
If he was in charge of the FBI, and basically just
But not
everything,
in Ohio.
And go after all of the corrupt actors.
They don't
that
care.
Systematically destroyed our civil rights in this country. It's an exciting thing. Again, how Trump does it, I don't know if it's a strategy. I don't know if it's some sort of ploy.
They'll still make the playoffs.
Like every good appointment comes with a bad appointment.
They may even get an easier seed now.
He does them in pairs.
We'll see how the championship games go. But
And we'll talk about some of the other appointments Trump has made that we're not so thrilled about. We're also going to be talking about UFOs a little bit. It could be tomorrow that the prophecy has foretold there will be a battle in the sky with UFOs and human technology. We'll talk about that as well. It's another thing that's just been sort of quietly simmering in the background. I'm sure everybody's noticed just a distinct uptick in the amount of reports of, we call them UAPs now, it's just UFO. Unidentified aerial phenomenon, unidentified flying object. I guess they just decided UFO was too old school, was too like 1950s. They just changed the initialism around, but yeah, UFOs. We'll talk about UFOs too, because there has been a lot of them. This type of thing where it's like, all right, I'm not going to spend time recording this with just like lights in the sky. But if there's lights in the sky every day for a week, all right, maybe there's something to talk about here. Now, whether it's actual UFOs, I don't think so.
Yep.
The revelation of advanced technology.
on the field during the game, not after the game. That was disgusting to have him just stand there and watch when the teams went at it. Sharon Moore was right in the middle of it, breaking people up.
Like I said, I woke up at 4 a.m., which is good for you, the audience, because it means I've got a ton of stuff to show you, but also means...
I know it's not his job to break that shit up, but...
Well, let's just get into it. We'll begin today as we do.
It is as a leader.
Dispatch. Here it is, folks, your Daily Dispatch for Monday, the 2nd of December, 2024. Biden pardons his son Hunter weeks before Trump takes office. Biden issues a full and unconditional pardon of his son Hunter Biden. The pardon comes weeks before before President Biden leaves
Pardoned for the last 10 years. Any offenses, federal offenses for the last 10 years.
Personal issues. President Biden issued a full and unconditional.
Yeah, I thought they just did Michigan players at first, but it looks like they got it on both sides because of the wind. They sprayed it at the Michigan players, and then it blew back and got the other guys too.
It's one of the things you do as president if your son is a relentless criminal.
Cops just make it worse as usual, though.
That's not surprising.
I mean, plus there was like 10 different agencies down there on the field, both from Michigan and Ohio.
You should put family first. You should take advantage of your privileges as president of the United States.
They weren't ready for it,
After your own.
even though they should have been.
All I'm saying is
I'm telling you what, though,
I don't exactly blame Biden.
it'd be scary to go down there any other time, but it would have been scary to be a Michigan fan trying to leave that stadium.
In 2014, just around the time that the United States government overthrew the government of
That's all
and
fucking psycho fucking Ohio State Buckeye fans can be.
built business there. So we'll look into that. We've got some pretty powerful statements from the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene and others about.
I felt bad because me and the wife are in a house divided.
In this particular case.
She got her butt kicked both in fantasy football and Ohio State lost for the 4th time in a row. So I felt bad for her.
Choice of Cash Patel to lead the FBI has ignited a conversation
not
about
feeling all
what
that
will likely
great.
be as much of a fight over the future of America's premier national law enforcement agency as over the candidate's qualifications. Many Republicans have lined up behind Mr. Patel, who said he wants to dismantle the deep state within the FBI. Democrats say he's too much of a Trump loyalist and unqualified for the position. Well, he certainly isn't unqualified for the position. And the likes of Ted Cruz have said that he certainly has the votes and will likely be confirmed in that role. And if that's the case, oh boy. We'll show you clips of Cash Patel over the years talking
Hey,
about
Toe.
what needs to be done at the FBI. And in a word, he's
Good to see you, buddy.
extremist in the matter.
Hope you had a good holiday weekend.
That's what it comes across as, and we'll look into that. Meanwhile, Trump threatens 100% tariff on the BRIC block of nations if they act to undermine the U.S. dollar. President-elect Donald Trump on Saturday threatened 100% tariffs against a block of 9 nations if they act to undermine the U.S. dollar. His threat was directed at countries in the so-called BRIC alliance, which consists of Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Malaysia have applied.
Back to the grind.
Other countries have
Had a nice easy week last week. Now
this is a very
back
hard
at it.
stance from Trump. In a Truth Social post, he wrote, "We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty U.S. dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful U.S. economy." Now, Trump already just
Morning,
making massive
Unindoctrinated.
moves. It practically is like he's president already. He's summoning world leaders to bend the knee and kiss the ring.
it's gonna be a short one.
Like Justin
Only about
Trudeau.
4 minutes left of this drive.
And agreed to, ramp up border security
But-
between Canada and America.
I plan-
He's also helping to cobble together key summits. We've got a lot of news on that front as well when it comes to Ukraine. He's already doing a lot, and this move against BRICS is
We will try and do a
it's so
desktop
big,
stream today, though.
I can't even
I don't even know what we're
comprehend
gonna play,
the
but-
consequences of this will be. We'll look into what the experts are saying and see if we can't figure out what the play is here. Meanwhile, U.S. presence in Syria is behind the resurrection of terror, resurgence of terror. Israel is the biggest beneficiary of insecurity, according to Iran. The source has to do with the sudden and overwhelming Turkish blitzkrieg against Syria. Iran's foreign ministry says lingering and illegal American military presence in Syria is the main reason behind the persistence of terrorism in the Arab country, describing the Israeli regime as the main beneficiary of regional insecurity. I think that's a fairly accurate reading of the situation. We'll get into what could be behind this. Obviously, it has to do with Russia, has to do with their Syrian naval port, one of just a few warm weather ports that they rely on during the winter months. Really should project power over the world. I think it also has to do with the ceasefire with Hezbollah that Israel recently agreed to. I think it's all tied in together, and it's all just part of what future historians will call World War III. It's already on, folks, even if we refuse to acknowledge it. Finally, we have this. Georgia PM accuses EU of launching color revolution protests.
Oh, yeah.
intensified
Good day for it.
in response to anti-Western party taking power in the election, which was viewed as a referendum.
We're almost up to 28 degrees here.
Join the European Union. And yes, folks, if you're having flashbacks to 2014 and exactly the same thing that happened in Ukraine, well, you're not mistaken. It is exactly the same thing that happened in Ukraine. Pray for the people of Georgia. So that's your daily dispatch. We will touch on all of those stories and how they intertwine.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Later, I do want to tell you that today is Cyber Monday, and the Cyber Week
Granger?
Sales are on at Infowars.com and the AlexJonesStore.com. We're getting 25% off store-wide. You can also get
Oh, yeah.
or
Yeah, we'll probably play something on that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of commentators talking about that crap.
Free shirts, whatever you want. The AlexJonesStore.com are all $3 for $60 with hats and shirts. You can also get the Ultimate Supplement Bundle, which is 30% off.
I'm the only one here.
Every supplement sold in the stores. This is just fill your basket with every supplement on sale at thealexjonesstore.com. You get them all at a massive 30% off. That's the Ultimate Sea Moss capsules, the Ultimate Hydro Force, Gut Cleanse, Probiotic, the Iron Plus Vitamin C. Vitamin C, that is. There is no vitamin Z. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Ultimate Turmeric, Ultimate Energy Gummies, Ultimate Sleep Gummies, and Ultimate Sambucus.
See you later, everybody. Peace.
Supplement. Plus, you get free money to spend on the store with no minimum spend if you're a part of the VIP club. Or I guess that's whether you're a part of